flashes of brilliance and on some flashes of disaster as well. So, they're still testing out the waters, as you said.
Yeah, the Penn's got to
Moving
stop
on.
flashing us.
Yeah.
Stop.
uh, so that's, I guess, that's 9 and 10. I don't know if you had anyone, 9 that you wanted to
Yeah,
mention there.
I think we just basically flip-flopped those two
Yeah.
teams. New Jersey right at 9 there for me.
Yeah. So we'll move on to number 8. I have Tampa Bay there. Who do you have?
Tampa Bay also. And I think they're going to be one of the teams that will be competing for the Eastern Conference title, I think, when it's all said and done. They're just a really good team. Stamkos is just a phenomenal player, and I think Druin is going to make a big impact there, even though it's his rookie season, and he's just now starting to get his feet wet, but this kid's a solid player, and that's going to be a good team for a long, long time.
You're hoping Druin does well. He's on your fantasy team, isn't he?
I am. I picked him as my last player, so
that's a sleeper pick, though. I
really
like that.
Taking a chance on him. That's a good sleeper, I think.
Oh no, that's a great pick. I like to get those guys too. They kind of slip there to the end. You may say, oh, I might as well take them. Maybe they'll break out and have a good rookie season. So yeah, I think the loss of Victor Hedman's definitely going to hurt the Lightning. But I mean, heck, they were without Ben Bishop for a long time last year, and they did a lot better than a lot of people thought they would. So I think they'll be just fine.
They missed a lot of time with Stamkos too.
Yeah, exactly.
They traded St. Louis, so there's a team, with a lot of turmoil last year that did okay, and I think they'll do a little better even this year. So interesting team, and a lot of fun to watch too. Fantasy wise, I'd probably be doing a lot better if I actually set my lineup. But
me too. I feel like I haven't done it in a long time.
This week.
Yeah, I've been so focused on fantasy football, I don't know.
I don't even want to talk about fantasy football. The past 3 weeks have been terrible.
Yeah, well, Tony Romo's hurt, and I need like 4 points, so
yeah,
not a good.
Ben Roethlisberger yesterday, so
jeez, I'm
and
sorry.
Tom Brady in another league, so
man,
not the best weekend.
Well, enough football. Back to hockey. We'll go to number 7. It was actually a team that played tonight. I have there. I got the Minnesota Wild. Who do you have there?
I got Detroit. Actually, I think Detroit's looking pretty good right now. They just kind of keep finding ways to win and get points. So I mean, they're 4-2-2 on the year, they came back with a gutsy win against the Pens of all teams. But they're just kind of one of those teams that always linger around and always kind of give everybody fits. So Detroit is where I kind of. What are we on, 7 here? Yeah.
Yep, 7. Yeah, Detroit. I mean, they just never go away, do they? I mean, no matter what happens, they just seem to hang around there, and Mike Babcock always doing a great job coaching them. But yeah, for 7, I went with the Wild. Obviously they've made a lot of big free agent signings the past few years with Parise, who's having a great year, Ryan Suter and Thomas Vanek this past offseason. So they're doing pretty good. Mike Yo's Minnesota Wild. Trying to see what their record is. They did lose to the Rangers tonight by the score of 5-4. So they're 4-2. Well, I guess they'll be 4-3 now, but not a great record. But there's a lot of talent on that team, and I think they'll play good. I mean, Darcy Kemper though, he's been phenomenal.
Lights out. This kid, 3 shutouts on the year already?
I think so. Yeah, it's incredible.
It's unbelievable.
Who saw that one coming? I mean,
they've got 4 wins, and he's got 3 shutouts.
Like, I remember writing. I don't know if I wrote it or I don't know. I was researching for all that has transpired for the Wild, and one of the things I was writing was, who the hell's going to be the starting goalie? And now, well, that answer has, that question has been answered, I think. So
they put a little bit of an exclamation point on that question.
Yeah, it definitely did. So moving on, number 6, I got the Chicago Blackhawks.
Yeah, that's right where I have them too. Just really good team, and they're always going to hang in there. Scott Darling of all players last night, winning his first NHL game. He ended up playing a full season here in Wheeling just a couple years ago, and he's been with like 13 different organizations on his way up to the NHL. Kind of one of those journey guys, kind of almost like a Derek Englund, but actually has some talent. He kind of bounced around in the E and the A for years, and now he finally gets a chance in the NHL, and he ends up winning his very first game that he starts with Chicago. And hey, by the way, nice little bonus. You get to play a game with the Chicago Blackhawks as a member of the Chicago Blackhawks. That's not too shabby. So
yeah, not a bad way to start, huh?
no, not at all. So
yeah,
they're doing a great job, and they're going to be up. They're going to be there all year. So top 10 team, easily,
next
maybe
5
top
years.
5 team. So
yeah, they're just stacked. I mean, it's unbelievable what they've been able to do. Brandon Saad looking great still. So they're just loaded with, veterans, and, they have great young players too that continuously just keep coming up and contributing. And that's why they've been so good for so long. So yeah, I think Chicago doing a great job there. Number 6. We'll move on to number 5, who, I did not expect this team to be in the top 10, but I got the Nashville Predators.
Say Nashville, yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
I don't think anybody expected them to be in the top 10. I actually have the Islanders in this spot.
Yeah.
But
I have them at 4, so we flip-flopped
you can't
here.
go wrong with Nashville here either. Laviolette's done a fantastic job turning that team around. I think a lot of people still expected them to kind of play that 2-1 style game, and they're a little more offensive this year than I think people would give them credit for. I think the addition of James Neal, even though it took him a little while to get going, that's given him a little bit of bite. And so offensively, they've got some flair now. So.
I mean, James Neal, he already had a bobblehead night. I mean, that's crazy. He's assistant captain. He's got a bobblehead.
Bobble elbows.
Bobble elbows, yeah. Yeah, now you know what? He has 5 goals for them, including a hat trick. So, I mean, you don't see many Predators getting hat tricks. So
a couple of posts against the Pens too.
Yeah, took a bad penalty
easily
too.
Could be up to 7 goals right now. So I mean, just it's kind of the breaks of the game, but yeah.
I mean, he's been good for them. I mean, I think Predators have kind of lacked a player like that. So I'm sure Shea Weber doesn't mind having him around. I mean, we basically flip flop there. I said the Islanders number 4. That's another team that we. I mean, I knew they'd be good after the trades, but maybe not this good. I mean, they're 6-2. I love those trades for them with Nick Leddy and Johnny Boychuk, especially Boychuk. He's a good player, and Leddy's a good young guy. And Brock Nelson has been really good. I think he has 10 points in 8 games. I mean, no one saw that one coming. I think Mish picked him up on fantasy, by the way.
Yeah, he did. Off the waiver wire. I'm not so sold on the Islanders in the long run. I think they're still a little bit a ways away. They did a great job actually this offseason waiting out teams that needed to kind of shed some salary cap space and kind of pulling the wool over their eyes. But I mean, Leddy and that's all of a sudden you've revamped your defense immensely there, and Brock Nelson stepping up big time. Hamonic, solid player back there on D2. Always seemingly kind of a thorn in the side of the Penguins teammates or team. But yeah, it's a really good young constructed team, and they'll be making the jump over to Brooklyn next year, and they got a little bit to be excited about right now. So good start for those guys. I don't think anybody expected that at all.
No, certainly not.
The Sabres didn't.
No, they certainly did.
Trades.
Yeah, so moving on to here's our top 3. Number 3, I have the Montreal Canadiens. Michel Therrien continuously doing some good work with the Canadiens.
Yeah, absolutely. He is 7-1 on the year. That's a great way to start off in a division that's typically going to be a pretty tough one. You got pretty much a 3-team race there, and then you have Detroit, who's always in the mix. Ottawa is one of those fringe teams that will kind of vie for maybe a playoff spot, but for years now it's been the Boston Bruins as the beast of that division, and now Montreal's really kind of showing that they've come to play this year, and Terrian's got his team ready. So yeah, I've got them number 3 too. I have a feeling you and I are going to probably agree on the next 3 picks here. So.
Yeah, next 2 teams in the state of California.
Yep.
Anaheim. I got Anaheim at number 2, LA at number 1. Is that what you have as well?
Yeah, that's exactly what I have. after the first game of the season with the Pens and the Ducks, they've lost one game since that point. They're 7-2 on the year, and the Pens handed it to them pretty badly. And so for them to bounce back and lose just one game from that point on, kind of shows that they've got a little bit of mental toughness on that team, and they're a well-coached and well-conditioned team, so they're ready to go.
Yeah, they certainly are, and Frederick Anderson's been really, really good for the Ducks. I mean, we thought
he has been. On the other side, Gibson hasn't seemed that great all year, has he?
Surprising. A little bit surprising. I really thought Gibson would end up with the starting job. And it was his, I mean, they did go with him opening night, and that had something to do with, because it was in Pittsburgh, but Anderson's been the go-to guy.
Yeah, he has. I think maybe it's one of those things where when you think that the job is yours, you feel like you don't have to compete as much for it.
That's true.
That's just the learning curves of a young player. He does have all the talent to be able to be the starting keeper there, but right now it might be one of those mental things where he's just got to buck it up and pay his dues a little bit longer and kind of keep his head on straight. So hopefully he does. Good young player. Always good to see the local guys do well too. So
yeah, certainly. And Duck's gonna be missing Ben Lovejoy as a broken finger. He's gonna be out 6 to 8 weeks. So that's I think he actually broke it while he punched Joe Pavelski, if I'm not mistaken. I think that was what it was. So
it's a guy that could take a puck to the face, but
yeah.
Broken fingers and to set him out for a while. No, that's a big loss for them. Defensively, he's a pretty good defenseman out there, and Los Angeles is going to be without Slava Voinov for a while. So, both these top two teams in these power rankings are without one of their good defensemen. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see how this shapes out for next month, to see if these two teams can hang on with a defenseman out for about a month each. At least. Who knows how long Voinov will be out, but maybe the Habs kind of take over that top spot next month.
Yeah, they might. I mean, definitely have the opportunity to do so with the Kings without Voinov and Anaheim without Lovejoy. And maybe who knows, maybe a surprise team comes out of nowhere and as I said, the Kings be at Consol Energy Center on Thursday night. Jonathan Quick off to a great start, and Tanner Pearson's doing really well too. 7 goals. Yeah, it could be an early Calder. One of the early Calder picks. Obviously, things can change pretty quick, but hey, 7 goals. That's pretty impressive in the first week of the season. So that's our power rankings, and I think we all had the same teams. Except you have Detroit and I had Minnesota, and I think the rest we all had. Yeah, we both had the same teams. There. So I know a lot of sites put Calgary in there.
Been surprising. Ottawa's been surprising. I think Washington kind of doing okay right now too. Dallas a little less than what I thought.
Yeah, me
Boston,
too.
Boston definitely farther down than I had expected them to be.
Yeah. Well, they don't have Chara, so.
And they won't have him for a little while too, so that's a big loss for them.
I think I think loss of Boychuk too. I mean, trading a guy like that, he was a big player for them.
Yeah, they're pretty thin on defense right now. I think maybe if Philadelphia and Boston comes together and merges their blue lines together, they might have an NHL caliber blue line all of a sudden. I don't know. They're both pretty hurting for defensemen right now, so
yeah. The Rangers too. They're down there too.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the Blues.
Pittsburgh to be a little better.
There's a lot of teams that, we expected a lot that are kind of towards the bottom right now, with the Flyers, the Bruins, the Stars, the Rangers, the Blues, the Blue Jackets. So
Carolina.
Carolina, we don't. We definitely expect a little bit more than what they've been doing right now. I think they are getting Eric Stahl back, so
it's gonna be a big help.
That'll help.
They need something.
I mean, they're without Jordan Stahl, and man, that's a couple years ago, I really thought that was a team that could be good, but man, it's been pretty rough down there, hasn't it?
Yeah, they've got some really talented players. Jeff Skinner just can't stay healthy.
It's a shame. He's such a good player.
It's a shame. He's a great player, great skater. A lot of fun to watch when he's actually out there. But it's been one of those things where he's just can't keep it all together, can't stay healthy there.